Welcome to Swartz Talkin Sports, your YouTube channel for all sports talk. I'm your host, Les Swartz. I'll be here every Wednesday evening, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Just want to let everyone know we are live tonight, and we are experiencing a tropical storm, by the way, so if you hear any rumblings in the background, that is what it is. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we do not have any interruptions and power outages. Our regularly scheduled guest tonight would have been John Irwin, former Assumption College Greyhound, 4-year starter, played college football with current LSU head coach Brian Kelly. Unfortunately, John could not make it this evening, so we're going to bring on our recurring guest who's going to be with us every week, and he's going to help us out and pinch hit for John and do the entire show of college football this evening. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest, and I just want to let everyone know, CBS back in the day had Jimmy the Greek. Then you had ESPN with Chris Berman doing The Swami. Currently, ESPN's College Game Day has Chris D'Elia the Bear. I think we've got them all beat. Right now, we've got Benny the Book, the King of Carolina. So without further ado, here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is, Benny the Book.
Hey, good evening, Les. How
Benny,
you doing tonight?
Are you surviving the storm?
Yeah, we got a little storm coming in here.
I know.
Hopefully,
I just hope your cat doesn't go crazy and my
away.
dogs don't go crazy.
Yeah, hi Benjamin. We got a live guest. He's looking at the show from right through the windows.
Well, hopefully he'll enjoy the show. And I just want to let everyone out there know, please hit the subscribe button. We're going to have a comment section after the show, so please let us know what you'd like to hear, because we want to talk about what you want to hear when it comes to sports. But today's show, we're really going to focus on college football. We're going to get it started. We're going to call this segment First Down with Benny the Book, and we're going to talk a little top 10 college football based on the AP's top 10. So, Benny, why don't we get started, and you can let me know who the pretenders and the contenders are.
Well, Les, we got the usuals up there, the big SEC. They got their 3. You got the Big Ten with their 3, and you got the sprinkled in Pac-12, which next year they won't be here.
No, it'll be the Pac-Nothing next year.
And they even got 2 from the ACC, and they left out they were very impressive in the first week against Navy, my Fighting Irish.
And I know we have a lot of Notre Dame fans out there.
Yes, they look very good.
Your opinion.
And looking at this top 10, you got a lot of 5 out of the top 10 have new quarterbacks. They lost their quarterbacks from last year. So who's to know what's going to happen, if these guys will pan out, if they'll be as good as they were last year. But Georgia's got a great defense. You have a defense, you're going to be there all the time.
But Benny, can they three-peat? I mean, it's so hard to win one. They're going for 3 straight national championships.
Well, history says no. I mean, and I don't think so, because I have a dark horse, and you'll like the team that I like when we pick our winners of each big conferences, the Big 5.
That's a little teaser. We're going to be doing a little bit of that. Afterwards, Benny's going to pick the conference champions in the Power 5 conferences. So Georgia obviously breaking in Carson Beck, new quarterback. I know it's really difficult to three-peat, especially when you have Nick Saban coaching in your same division or same conference, different division. Yeah. But Saban's breaking in a new quarterback, right? I mean, and he hasn't even let anybody know who that quarterback's going to be right now.
Right. He hasn't even named it as far as we know. But they're playing Tennessee Martin, right?
Alabama's got Middle Tennessee.
Oh, Middle Tennessee.
That would be the Blue Raiders out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So I don't think they stand a chance of upsetting Bama.
No, definitely not. And it'll be a good intro to this. We'll see how this kid is. But the big test will be when he starts playing against those SEC teams week after week. That's when you really know. That's what's so hard. That's what's so amazing about Georgia, how they've gone through this gauntlet. Even the lower tier teams could give you a lot of trouble. Mississippi State, Mississippi, Alabama knows they've not fared well against Mississippi.
Well, I got to
Well,
say, Benny, there's really not a weak sister in the SEC. I mean, I know
no.
Vanderbilt for years has been kind of at the bottom of the conference, but they're capable of giving you a game any day, right? I mean, there's no
Yeah.
weak sister there.
After they win this week, they'll be 2-0.
That's right, Vanderbilt. That's
They'll
right.
be 2-0 already.
2-0.
They should win this week.
Now, I know right now Michigan, they got Michigan rated ahead of Ohio State. I know I don't want to tease it ahead, but I know you like the Wolverines, even though Harbaugh's missing the first 3 games due to a rules infraction violation by the NCAA. So he'll miss the first 3 games, and of course they don't play anybody the first 3 games.
But they have their returning quarterback who
That's right.
many feel is going to be in the Heisman running. They have that running back that got hurt last year.
Blake Corum.
He's excellent. He's a really tough runner. And their defense is going to be good. Now, Ohio State, they're ranked with their defense, but they got to go to the big house if I'm correct, right? They're going to the big house.
I think they play at Michigan this year with a new quarterback. Obviously,
that'll be a tough. But you don't know. Ohio State's got a lot of tests before they get to Michigan. They're gonna play Notre Dame this year, and I think it's gonna be a little different this year. I think Notre Dame with the new rule changes, that's a big advantage. They finally have a quarterback that could run an offense.
I agree.
And create offense.
Now, this is a big time quarterback. I think that, and we're talking about Sam Hartman, the transfer from Wake Forest. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to put up Heisman numbers. He's got a solid offensive line. He's got weapons. The kid's got an arm. He can throw. He can make all the throws, and he can get out of the pocket, scramble, and make plays. So I think he's a massive upgrade for what Notre Dame has had the last few years.
Oh, a massive upgrade. It was really, as a Notre Dame fan, excellent watching them. I mean, Navy doesn't quit. Navy doesn't quit. No matter what, they got kids that just don't quit.
Agreed.
No matter how overmatched they are, they don't quit. And
Benny,
last year it was a perfect example. They took Notre Dame. They were getting stomped in the first half, and then Notre Dame had to hang on for dear life.
Benny, the service academies, potentially the last 3 real student athletes left in college football.
Correct. Yes.
So how about USC? So, preseason number 6, returning Heisman Trophy winner in Caleb Williams. They beat up on San Jose State, gave up some yards against San Jose State, but beat them. You think they got a legitimate shot?
They're the Pac-12 this year. For their last year, they've got quite a few teams that are loaded that could really make noise in the top 10.
It's the conference of quarterbacks.
You have Oregon, you have Oregon State, you have Washington, you have USC, you have UCLA, which that kid was a great quarterback. So I don't know how they're going to replace him, although they are ranked in the top 25. Mm-hmm. But that kid was excellent. I forgot to mention the team that I think is going to win it all in the Pac-12, Utah. That's
right. And if we're going to touch base on them,
if Rising is healthy and could stay in one piece, because he's a tough guy, and he just don't know when to go down.
I think that's his problem. He just doesn't know when to take the sack and just run out of bounds. Right. He plays that old school mentality. He's tough, but he's taking a beating and keep on ticking. He's like the Timex guy, right? I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, he must have watched Tim Tebow when he was younger.
Well, let's Tim Tebow, he's not.
Okay.
But we got a couple more teams that I definitely want to look at in the top 10. And then we can touch on your picks to win the Power 5 conferences. We'll do that right after a message from our sponsors.
Forever 24 Fit, Leland's only gym with 24-hour access. Get fit when it's convenient, utilizing Life Fitness, cardio, and weight machines. And for those of you who prefer free weights, there is a free weight area as well. Start your membership today and get on your way to a better you. 6 Happiness. Enjoy fresh Asian cuisine in a relaxed and friendly atmosphere where we believe good times deserve great food. Featuring the best sushi chefs in the Leland area. So come on in and we guarantee you will be delighted.
All right, we're back, and I want to thank our sponsors, of course, for taking care of the show. They've been fantastic. So my thanks to everyone out there for doing that. We are now going to second down, and Ben, we're going to have to shift gears real quick because we did do a lot of talk in the top 10. I want to get real quickly your picks on the Power 5. Why don't you give them to me right now? Your picks in the Power 5, starting with potentially the toughest conference in football, the SEC.
Yes, the SEC. My pick is going to be LSU.
Okay. My LSU Tigers?
Your LSU Tigers. That should
Okay.
make you very happy. I hated to see Brian Kelly go. I thought he was a great fit for Notre Dame. He got him right. He got him right up to the top. They just were a little, they ran into SEC teams, Alabama. They just needed a little bit more to get over the top. He's an excellent coach. He's done it before. He's done it all over the place. Wherever he's coached, he's always had a winner. And I really like their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's one of the underrated quarterbacks.
Jalen Daniels, who transferred over from Arizona State last year.
He's got legs. He's got wheels. He's hard. He'll give Alabama. He'll give Georgia's defense trouble. Escapability. That's what you need against those teams.
I hope so.
To create plays.
I hope you're right on that one.
Okay.
How about Big Ten? How about the Big Ten?
Big Ten, I got to go with the Wolverines.
Going with Harbaugh's crew.
I like Harbaugh.
Okay.
I mean, I know he's type of a screwball, but he's an excellent coach. I mean,
you said it. I didn't say it.
He did it at San Francisco. He's got a quarterback that he's got a lot of faith in. He's got the running back. You
think he can beat Day 3 years in a row?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I definitely think so.
All right. Well, it's going to come down to those two. We all know that, right?
Okay.
Big 12.
I'm not picking my Mountaineers. No.
All right.
I'm looking at Texas.
Okay.
Texas has Ewers as the quarterback. Sarkisian seems to be an excellent coach. I think he's got it all together there. I think they're going to get back to where they used to be.
Okay.
So I like Texas in the Big 12.
And we're going to talk about this.
Is a new conference.
Right. And we're going to talk about this coming up because
Oh.
this is Texas's and Oklahoma's last year in the Big 12.
Yes.
They vacate and go to the SEC next year. So it's going to get a lot tougher for Texas and Oklahoma to get into the playoffs playing in the SEC. How about the ACC?
The ACC. I'm going to go with Florida State.
Okay.
They got another quarterback running, going to be a candidate for the Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have a tough time with Florida State, but I'm going to have to pick. I'm going to have to pick Florida State. You got North Carolina also in there, which they might have the best quarterback in the country.
And we're going to talk about him in the Heisman race coming up very briefly. But Clemson's dominated that conference for years. They've had iconic quarterbacks, real game-changing quarterbacks in Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence. Kind of a step down. You can't keep that going. And I like your pick there. I think Florida State's on their way back. How about the Pac-12? The last year of the Pac-12?
I'm going to go with Utah again.
Okay.
I mean, they've done it for the last 2 years. They've got most of their guys back. I don't see why not. I just, that's a conference that it could be any one of 5 teams. It could really be, but I'm going to go with Utah. They did it the last 2 years, and they'll do it again.
And if anybody's heard the beeping going on in the background, we're under a tornado warning. So this shows you how dedicated we are to bringing you this show. I am risking life and limb here in the studio, and hopefully it doesn't blow away in about 5 minutes. So getting to that point, Benny, we're going to talk a little bit about the landscape of college football, right? What's happened and what is happening with conference realignments and you and I are both traditionalists. We like it when it was the Southwest Conference and it was the conferences were left alone. They had traditional bowl games based on, agreements between conferences and things like that. It's all changed now. Big 12 actually this year bringing in 4 new teams, 3 from the AAC, which is Houston, Cincinnati, and University of Central Florida. And also they brought in Brigham Young University, a independent out of Provo, the Cougars. And obviously the demise of the Pac-12, we can talk about that right now. The 4 best schools now are going to the Big Ten, which geographically makes no sense to me, but that's not what it's about, is it?
It's all about the money. It's all about the money. That's all it comes down to. They'll say no, but I think it's like something like 40 million or 35 million that it's going to create more for those Pac-12 teams going to the Big Ten. I mean, how could you say no to that? Plus, it's also about the exposure. Big 12 owns, Pac-12 has this, but who stays up to watch the Pac-12? It's
no one on the East Coast.
No. And their players will get more exposure. Hopefully they'll be able to get some of the players from the Midwest, to go out there. California, nice place to go. Look at Caleb Williams. He went from...
He's done all right from Oklahoma, goes there in his first year, wins a Heisman Trophy.
Yeah. That's, but there's going to be... It's going to be a very interesting year due to the rule changes, the conference realignments. I think it's going to... I think the rule changes are going to equal it out a little bit, make it
And let's talk about that one big one, Benny, the one that I know you brought up to me. I wasn't even aware of the rule change, but how that is going to really affect the offenses in college football.
Those high-powered, fast running plays, they're not going to be able to take place. So it's going to shorten the game. Mm-hmm. Offenses aren't going to get as many plays. And then, for example, a Notre Dame team, great offensive line. They'll be able to control the ball. They'll be able to play against these high-powered USC, Ohio State, whereas before, their defense doesn't have to be that good. They'll have to stop them less times. They won't have to stop them. I mean, I should say they won't have to stop them as many times because they're not going to get the ball that much.
So it's basically, if I'm reading it right, it used to be when a team got the first down, they would stop the clock until they reset the chains, then started running it. Now it's running all the time until the final 2 minutes of the first half and the final 2 minutes of the game. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So
yes. When they go out of bounds, it will keep running. They won't wait until they bring the ball in, set the chains, the guys will be in the huddle or they'll be at the line of scrimmage. So it will shorten the games. And that's what the NCAA wanted to do. They wanted to shorten the games.
I think everybody wants to shorten games these years, depending on what sport it is. No one wants to sit in front of a television for 4.5 hours and watch a sporting event anymore.
No.
Real quick, and we touched on it. Transfers. What's your take on it? And what's your take specifically on what Deion Sanders has done at Colorado? Because if you remember when he came in with ESPN and they had the cameras there, he basically said to the team, I'm just going to let you know, most of you won't be here for the first game. And true to his word, he got everyone hit the portal.
He didn't get rid of him. He says your best bet is to go to the portal. He says
and 71 players did.
I'm bringing in my own guys. So he had 51 transfers, 21 new freshmen. Like you said, 71 of his players entered the portal. One in an 11 team. I don't know how many got other opportunities, but it's not college. It's not college football like we knew growing up. It's totally different.
To me, Benny, it's like free agency now. And I understand for years what they would say, and it's interesting to talk about some future guests we're going to have on the show. We're going to be lucky enough to bring on William Barnes, the starting offensive tackle at the University of North Carolina. And one of the questions I want to ask William is, why did you pick North Carolina? And was it because of a coach? Because in years past, you went to a school maybe because the coach was there. He took a better offer and left, and you're stuck at that school. And now when new coaching staff comes in that doesn't mesh with you, you're kind of stuck there and you really couldn't leave. Now
Right.
you can get up and just go anywhere you want to go.
Right. That was the problem, Les, that it wasn't fair to the students that they went and they allowed the coaches to jump, but they didn't allow the recruits that they brought in. And it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to the student. But now it's a free for all. It's just like, okay, I'm gonna try to start here, but if I can't start here, I'll just go somewhere else.
But to me, it takes out the competition because now you look at a team like Alabama or Georgia, they bring in 5-star kids, right? I mean, let's face it, they're not bringing in 2- and 3-star quarterbacks. Okay, this isn't UMass. No pun intended. I don't want to rank on UMass because they won this week and they beat New Mexico State to start 1-0. But you get beat out in a positional battle instead of staying there and seeing if you can get better or maybe competing later on in the year or next year. They just leave. They're like, well, I'm not playing, so I leave and I go to the next best opportunity. And you can have kids playing at 4 colleges in 4 years, which is kind of a sham.
Right.
I don't like it.
No, I don't like it either. And the main reason that students go to universities, yes, they're football players and they want to play football and have the aspiration to get to the NFL, but not many do.
Right.
You're there to get a degree. They're giving you a free education, which
Jim's Pawn and Gun Shop.
It used to be.
other people.
That was the thing. It used to be
Oleander Drive.
that the education was what mattered. That was the big thing.
Right.
Sorry about that. We just had a little Jim's gun on there, which is but we'll get that one up and running in a couple seconds. Like I said, we're live. This is our first kickoff show. We're gonna have some glitches. We'll work them all out. Don't you worry about that. But right now, we just want to jump into the Heisman. So very interesting Heisman race this year, right? You've got the returning Heisman winner, Caleb Williams, bidding to be only the second player in NCAA history to win 2 Heismans and do it back-to-back, just like Archie Griffin did in 74 and 75 with the Ohio State Buckeyes. You've got a list of some players that you think, and I kind of like the surprise that you're picking for the Heisman, and I think it's not a bad pick. It's really not a long shot.
Yeah, I got a few guys. It's very hard to repeat, as you could see. And three of the guys that I think, the May from North Carolina, the quarterback, tremendous season last year.
Great dual threat quarterback.
He could only get better.
Absolutely.
You look at him, he's only going to get better.
Absolutely.
Then you got Nix from Oregon, which they were really, I think he exceeded expectations. I think they thought they were going to get a good quarterback. I think he was better than they expected.
And he basically he just left Auburn. He just couldn't. It didn't work at Auburn. His dad was a quarterback there, Patrick Nix, and it just didn't work for him. And then he goes, like you said, to Oregon, exceeds all expectations, puts up massive numbers.
Now, my guy that I talked to you about, I think he's the best college football player in the country. Bowers, the tight end from Georgia. Brock Bowers could do it all. He's a tight end, but he's like a wide receiver. And he's a great blocker. He's one of the, and I've seen a lot of great tight ends from Notre Dame because they always have great tight ends. And I think that he could be a surprise. But I did some research because I was curious. Can you name the last 2 tight ends that finished in the top 5 in the Heisman voting?
All right, I'm not looking at my notes, okay? I'm not looking at my notes. I would say there's only 2 that I could think of that would have finished in the top 5. One of my picks would have been Keith Jackson at Oklahoma. The other would have been Ken McAfee at Notre Dame.
And Ken McAfee was the last one in 1977. He finished 3rd to Earl Campbell.
Out of Brockton, Massachusetts.
And the tight end before that, 1968, Ted Kwolek.
Former 49er.
Finished 5th.
Well,
so I still like Brock Bowers.
Okay.
But looking at the history, I mean, he'd have to do something awful special. And then I have the new quarterback at Georgia.
Wow.
So
but the thing's beeping. I think the tornado is imminent. I think it's over the house.
Really? You hear something beeping?
Yeah, we've got warnings going on. It's crazy over here.
Mm.
So let me ask you a question, okay? Who's going to be your pick preseason to win the Heisman?
I am going to take May from North Carolina.
Travis May. Okay.
Travis
Okay,
May.
Drake May. Okay.
Drake May.
So we got, I know, I got his brother, Luke May, on the brain, who won a national championship with North Carolina as a basketball player in 2016. But he threw for over 4,000 yards last year, ran for over 700. I think his touchdown to interception ratio was 34 to 35 to 7. Fantastic quarterback. And I agree with you. Offensive line plays well. He has some weapons. He could put up some massive numbers this year.
The Pac-12 also has a couple other quarterbacks that
Let's
have
talk
a
about
shot.
those couple quarterbacks.
You got Penix Jr.
That's right.
and you got who was the other
We'll
other
talk
guy?
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix.
You got Williams coming back. Now, what about the transfer? And I mistakenly, I can't pronounce his last name, but the transfer from Clemson, DJ.
Clemson. Here. Oh,
I say
couldn't pronounce
ukulele. I'm
that.
so sorry, but it's Ungalela or something. I think it is.
We'll find out next show.
We'll find out when he plays. But he's
we'll
going
get
to
the,
a really good Oregon State
pronunciation.
team with a really good coach.
Yeah, but they're
can
very
surprise some
tough.
people.
They're a very tough. They're a very tough. They're a very tough team. Also,
Now,
they play excellent well.
Now, you would put
And
down as one of your sleepers, and it's interesting because Will Rogers, the quarterback at Mississippi State, which
Mr. Rogers.
right now that offense was installed by the late great Mike Leach, who was
Yes.
one of the inventors of the air raid offense with Hal Mummy back in Valdosta State way back in the day.
Mhm.
But just, we put up some really huge numbers, but I'm thinking without Leach there, can he continue to put up those numbers against those stout SEC defenses?
I would think that he's almost going to be like a coach on the field. He learned under him.
Okay.
He's gonna. He seems like a smart guy. And I think he'll be all right. They'll get some guys in there that'll take care.
Okay. And I'm curious to think, now, what do you think about this whole Arch Manning, Quinn Ewers? Now, Ewers has obviously been named the starter by Sarkisian at Texas. Arch Manning came in much ballyhooed. I mean, he was the number one guy. I mean, he's a Manning, right? He's
Yeah.
a Manning. Do you think they're going to redshirt him if he doesn't play early? Or do you think maybe he says, I'm going to Alabama? What do you think he does?
I would think they were going to redshirt him.
Okay.
If it all depending on how Brock Ewers starts off. Ewers starts off. They're gonna have a good. Hey, they lost a great running back. I mean, it's going to be hard to replace that guy.
Well, I was going to say, he's turning out to be, he looked pretty good in preseason right now. So you're right. It's going to be difficult to replace him. So, all right. So we got, right now you got Drake May winning the thing, which is not a bad pick. He's obviously top 5. Everyone's got Drake May as a top 5 pick there. I know your sleep is Brock Bowers. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think he might be the most pro-ready player in college football, but
I think
quarterback, is he going to get the targets?
I also think Nix has a very good shot.
Bo Nix. Okay, well,
I think I told you that he was going to win the Heisman.
Yeah, Oregon's going to be tough. Now, question: next year, Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah go to the Big 12. I see Utah coming right in with the program that Whittingham has had, and you talk about continuity. 19th year coaching at Utah, plus he was the defensive coordinator when Urban Meyer was there, and they went undefeated in 2004. I think they go right into the Big 12, and I think they win the thing.
They could. They very could. I was taking a good look at the Big 12 because I went to a lot of games, saw a lot of Oklahoma State taking a big step down. Texas Tech, air raid. They always have offense, but they're never that good defensively. I think Houston is going to be a tough team because Holgorsen coached at Oklahoma State and coached at West Virginia. He was a head coach at 2 teams in the Big 12. So I think that he's very comfortable coaching against those teams. He knows what to do.
I was going to say Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, they always put up points, but listen, Patrick Mahomes quarterback the Red Raiders and put up massive numbers, never won because they couldn't stop anybody.
Because they couldn't stop anybody. The Big 12 commissioner already gave a word to Texas Tech coach. He says, when you play Texas, you better take care of them.
That's right.
Because they're leaving.
I like the way you say that. You better take care.
He doesn't like Texas. He doesn't like Texas.
Well, listen, Texas and Oklahoma leaving the Big 12 for the big bucks at the SEC. I agree with you. I think they really want to send Texas out. They really they want to give Texas a nice going away present for the SEC, right?
Oh, yes. Yes, they do.
Well,
Texas and Oklahoma, every team would love to beat them. That's for sure.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here with college football and the way it's going and the way we see it going this year and beyond. Also wanted to touch base real quick. Next year, the playoff system goes from 4 teams to 12 teams. They haven't exactly ironed that out yet, but it's going to be interesting next year with 12 teams in this thing.
Oh, yeah. And there'll still be teams that complain because the teams that are 13 and 14, they're going to say, well, I'm as good as the 10th and the 9th. And
I agree.
So there'll always be I personally would think eight should be the maximum. I really do. 12 is you're going into teams that didn't even win their conference. You know,
I agree with you because I say out of the Power 5, which is going to be the Power 4, you take the 4 winners, you take the 4 second highest seeds, and you stop it. But I agree. Team 13, 14, and 15 are going to have a gripe. There's no doubt about it. But, well, we just finished second down. So, Benny, we've got through first and second down here. Power still on, thank God.
Still on.
Still beeping a little bit. I can hear the rain pounding out there.
Rain is coming down.
It's coming down. But we're going to go for third down, and we'll be right back to talk about that after a word from our sponsors.
Jim's Pawn and Guns Shop, located at 4212 Oleander Drive, Wilmington's #1 firearms dealer. Sporting a large inventory, including all brands of handguns and long guns, a full stock of accessories, and all types of ammunition, Jim's Pawn and Gun Shop has it all, including the best customer service in the area.
Before the lights go out, call Wilmington Generators. We offer the lowest price and a 10-year warranty for all Briggs & Stratton installations. A Briggs & Stratton powers more of your home for less money. Call for a free quote. Wilmington Generators. We play with power.
All right, welcome back. Again, thanks to all our sponsors for supporting Swartz Talkin Sports. Now here we are, Benny. We are on third down. All right, we're making that. We're going to get to that. Shane, we're at third down here. We're using the new rules, okay? So this is my favorite part of the show is going to be, and you're going to be doing this every week for us. You're going to be picking every week the top 3 college games and 3 best pro games that you're going to give us. But so far, right now, with pros starting a week after Labor Day,
and I got a few good ones the first week. You're
going to go and give us your 5 best college picks for the official first week of college football. So let's roll it, and you let us know who the viewers should look at.
All right, guys. My first pick is the Colorado Buffaloes, plus the 20 points at TCU. TCU lost their quarterback, their best running back, their wide receiver, all to the pros, all doing very well in preseason. I can't see Dion just laying an egg. He brought in a lot of players. He's always produced. He's a guy that gets it done, and no matter what he does. If he says he wants to do it, he gets it done. He was a tremendous football player. He was a very good baseball player, and now he coached Jacksonville State. Correct?
Jackson State to an 11-1 season last year,
and it's just a matter of time where I'm sure he'll turn that program around because they used to be a very good program, Colorado. It's surprising that they were 1-11.
Yeah, Benny, that's the surprising thing about that is that when he took the job, it was offered the job and took it, there were guys out there like Stephen A. Smith, at ESPN who said, oh, it's an awful job, don't take it, he'll never win there. But Bill McCartney took that team in the mid-'80s, won a national championship with the Buffaloes, went to back-to-backs. They lost to Notre Dame and then won it the next year. Even when he left, Gary Barnett.
Great running backs, Abdul Salam.
Abdul Salam won a Heisman.
Yep.
You have Barnett coach there and Rick Neuheisel and won big there. So I think it's a sleeping giant. I think that you could come in there if you recruit well. The landscape, it's a beautiful campus from what people tell me. One of my buddies who's out there listening right now, initials GM, one of his sons went to the University of Colorado when all his kids live out there. It's beautiful out there. So
CC's son went to Colorado also.
See, look at this. We've got some people going out to Boulder, don't we? So
yes,
so you're liking Colorado getting the 20 points.
Yep.
Okay. Game number 2
is
this is a Chet special.
Yes, this is for you, Chet. Hey, good luck tomorrow, Chet. Hope everything goes well.
Chet, good luck tomorrow.
I'm sorry to say I have to take the Indiana Hoosiers plus the 30 points against Ohio State. Ohio State, new quarterback. They just named him 2 days ago. I know May said I'm very confident in either guy. Both guys are going to play. But a lot of times that doesn't work, 2 quarterbacks. And, they lost a real good one last year.
They did. C.J. Stroud, top 5 pick.
And I know they're loaded at wide receiver because they're becoming a wide receiver university. Everybody that plays wide receiver.
Marvin Harrison Jr. He's a stud.
That's a guy you like, right? For the Heisman.
I like him for the Heisman. If they can get a quarterback that gets him the ball, the kid's electric.
Yes. But I just think Ohio State, it's first game. Keep it close. Indiana will keep it close.
Okay. All right. Here's an interesting one. I'm curious to know why. I know why you're picking this game, because we got one of our neighbors here who went to UConn, right? So UConn playing against North Carolina State, a local Carolina team out of Raleigh. Okay. Tell us who you like.
I'm going to tell you, last year I went to the Myrtle Beach Bowl, living down here, and I watched UConn, and they played Old Dominion. And I said, this team doesn't even look like a Division I team. But now that I'm looking at the game, and at one time they were good, they're getting 14.5 at home. North Carolina State whipped them last year. But I'm going to take UConn because NC State's next game is against the Fighting Irish.
And you're going to that game.
And I'm going to that game. And I know that kids, they're not looking at UConn. They know that the Fighting Irish are coming in. Mm-hmm. And that's a game that they win, puts them on the map.
So you're saying they're looking ahead.
They're looking ahead. It's something that happens all the time. So I'm going to take UConn plus the 14.5 because they probably should be favored by more than 14.5 points.
Okay. Remember now, Dan Hurley isn't coaching this team. He coaches the basketball team.
Yeah, but a former NFL coach coaches UConn.
That's true. Is it Jim Mora?
Jim Mora
Jr. Okay.
Yep. Last year I knew I recognized. I said, that guy, I know that guy. Yeah, and it was Jim Mora.
Jim Mora Jr. Okay, so you got UConn. All right, next up we've got the Battle of Carolina in a neutral site game played in Charlotte. We've got South Carolina against North Carolina in your preseason Heisman pick, Drake May.
Drake May. I know. I said I think he could might win the Heisman, be the favorite, but I like SEC teams against ACC. It's just South Carolina has a quarterback that 2 years ago was at Oklahoma. When the season started, he was the number 1 contender for the Heisman.
Okay.
3 days into the season, or 3 games, he is out. And Caleb Williams is in as the quarterback.
And that's Spencer Rattler.
So I'm going to go with the SEC team against the ACC.
Okay, right.
I got a feeling that they're going to win that game.
All right. So you're going to go with the Gamecocks, the fighting Gamecocks over the Tar Heels. Okay.
My native team.
All right. Next up, this game is near and dear to my heart. Okay. Because it's my LSU Tigers. Okay, and again, another neutral site game played in Orlando, a rematch of last year's game that Florida State beat them because LSU's special teams was horrid. Who do you like and why?
Another SEC against ACC. I like LSU.
You like the
I
Tigers.
like their quarterback.
I like your pick.
I know that they're going to be missing a few starters. I know the defensive lineman is out suspended for one game. I think. you
Correct.
said?
Mason Smith will miss the
Yeah.
game. And just today found out that John Emery, who, interesting enough, Ben, I read up on that. I couldn't believe this. This is the third consecutive year that he's missing an opening game due to academic violations.
Another one that don't like go to class. Doesn't want to go to class. All right.
I'm not going to touch that one, but
It's going to be a tough game, and I'm gonna give you the prediction. I think LSU wins 20-17.
a close defensive battle.
Close game.
So you think LSU can contain Jordan Travis, another player that you like,
Yes,
in a top 10 Heisman looking voting? You kind of like that kid, and you think LSU can kind of corral him a little bit.
I think LSU has two of the top-rated safeties in the country, if I'm not correct.
They got this kid, Harold Perkins, who might be the best outside linebacker in the country.
Yes.
He is a lightning.
He is awesome. He was awesome in the playoff game in the game last year.
He's very good.
In the bowl game. He was very, very good.
Now, we are going to do a little bit of a bonus pick, and I got to throw this one out here. By the way, special hello to the Willard family who's watching us from Florida and watching us from Illinois. So I have to say hi to them. And a Florida Gator in the family, big game against Utah, another revenge game. They're going to Utah this year. They upset the Utes last year and kind of derailed it could have been a national championship team if they had beaten Florida last year, right?
Correct. Yes.
So you're going to pick the over/under on this game, and right now, is Cam Rising playing?
Yeah, I like under 45 points.
Okay.
New rule change. Get the clock going. Two defensive teams. Florida's very good defensively. Utah's always very good defensively. Florida has a new quarterback. As you said, Rising. We don't know if he's playing or not. He could be playing, and he could get knocked out of the game. Mm-hmm. Because they don't really know what his status is from his severe injury last year. So I think under 45 is the play in that game.
I like that as well. I don't think it's going to be an offensive shootout. I think the high altitude in Salt Lake City might affect Florida a little bit coming into the fourth quarter.
Could be, yes.
Although it didn't hurt any of Colorado's opponents last year. I don't know what happened there. So that's our top picks right now. And then we're going to throw you up Benny the Book's best of the rest. And let's just quickly go down the line here with your best of the rest picks for the first week of college football.
All right, guys. Yeah, you see, I got Tulane minus 6.5. Excellent year last year. Think they're going to continue. Okay. Rice, Texas. Texas in a blowout.
I mean, you don't think Rice has any chance to keep this thing close?
No
I don't
chance
either.
At all. Texas is going to run it up.
Okay.
Michigan, East Carolina. Here's a home state pick.
The Pirates.
East Carolina plus 36. No coach. They probably will lose by 4 touchdowns. Probably lose by 20, or they could get a backdoor cover. They could be losing by 42 and score a late touchdown, and they lose, and you win by 1. Nebraska, Minnesota. I don't know what happened to Nebraska. It used to be a powerhouse.
Yeah, we were talking about that back in the 70s and 80s and 90s. Osborne had that thing rolling.
Yes. Minnesota, good team, very good coach. And we go to UCLA versus Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina, one of them fighting young teams that
the Chanticleers.
They're looking for respect. So UCLA lost their quarterback from last year. I think they'll keep it close.
And Coastal Carolina's quarterback, McCall, a couple years ago, led them to an undefeated season. And he went, I think he only lost 1 game last year as a starter. So he's a tremendous quarterback and a good pro prospect.
Wasn't he the one that ripped up his knee severely?
He did. Hurt his knee and came back.
Yeah. So
the next pick is near and dear to your heart because If people can see the screen, I love
It's
it.
right
I
there.
love the
Looking
picture.
at the screen.
I love what you're
looking at the
wearing.
screen. Mountaineers, man. Mountaineers against Penn State. Penn State lost their quarterback. I know they're supposed to be loaded. Mountaineers 5-7 last year, but they blew 3 or 4 games in the fourth quarter. Very easily could have had a reverse winning record.
Now, Penn State starting a first-year quarterback, Drew Allard, and Franklin's done a nice job. The thing about Penn State, Benny, that every year they're great, they look good, and they either lose to Ohio State or Michigan, the one game they need to win to get over the top, and they can't do it. So you're thinking that West Virginia keeps it close.
West Virginia hung in a lot of games last year, but just couldn't finish them. Couldn't finish those fourth quarters.
All right, so we're liking the Mountaineers getting
Plus
20.
the
Now,
20.
this is my TC. This is your TC special, is it not?
This is my TC special. Now, if this Rutgers team doesn't beat this Northwest team by a touchdown, Shiano will be on 95 heading down to North Carolina to retire and play golf with TC. So that's they can't continue if they can't beat this Northwestern team. They got to beat this team by 7 points.
Well, you and I both know the only person that watches Rutgers football is TC.
Yes, I know. And shout out to him on the I'll see you Sunday and I'll see you Monday. Hope you're feeling better also.
All right.
Those Compass Point guys,
well, in Northwestern, obviously, with the big scandal, with the hazing scandal, with Fitzgerald getting, let go this year. And I think numerous players are suing the university, I think.
Yeah, he was a very good coach.
He was a very good coach, but
very good coach.
There was a lot of things going on behind the scenes.
Very good player also, too.
He was a tremendous player with Northwest. I thought he would have been the perfect Notre Dame coach, believe it or not.
Yeah, you're right. That would have been a good choice at one time.
Our last game, obviously an ACC game. We're in ACC country. Who do you like?
I'm going to take Clemson. I just think they're going to be at the top. They're going to be fighting Florida State for the and North Carolina for the ACC crown. So I don't think Duke's going to get in their way.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think Clemson's got this game. It's going to be a coming out party for Cade Klubnik. Hopefully, he played a few games last year and started.
Yeah, but he came in and did a very good job.
But this is really his team from day one. Dabo Swinney's giving him the keys, and he's going to go from there. But I want to say, Benny, again, thank you for pinch hitting for John. I know it was a last minute thing.
It was a pleasure.
Coming in.
Give a shout out to my
show.
Goombas out there in New York and all over the country.
No, I do appreciate it. And again, next week, give a little tease to the people out here. Next week, you're going to be picking your top 3 college, your top 3 pro, and we're going to throw in a little Major League Baseball next week. We're going to handicap the playoff races and ultimately who you think is going to take home the World Series trophy. I give you a hint. It's not going to be your Yankees.
It's not going to be the Yankees.
And it's not going to be my Red Sox.
Not going to be your Red Sox either. That's true.
So
yeah, we're waiting for next year.
It's the way. Why don't you keep?
They're going to bring back number 9. They're going to bring back number 9.
They're going to bring back Roger, and people are going to ask me, why does a Red Sox fan have a Roger Maris jersey? I did it for Benny.
That's right.
That's why. Oh, by the way, you're probably going to shell about $500 million to get Shohei Ohtani in his one arm.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
I think he hit another home run today.
Did he really?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, he's not pitching. That's done.
Well, he's got a torn ligament, right? Is
he going to have a little Tommy John surgery at the end of the season?
Probably. I mean,
most likely. So we're going to talk a little about Major League Baseball next week, and I'm going to track your picks, Ben. So every week,
I'm going to track
how you do, and if you're hitting 70%, we're going to put it up there. You're hitting 70%,
and I'll be very happy if I hit 70%.
Well, again, thanks for pinch hitting for John. And we'll see you. I'll see you Sunday on the golf course.
Yeah,
I'll be giving you my $20 because I don't understand any of the betting things that you do. So I'll give you your $20.
All right.
Take care, Ben, and stay safe with the storm.
Good night, Les. Take care. Good night, all fans. Take care.
Now, I want to thank Benny again for coming on, and we look forward to John next week talking about his prognostications. in his Super Bowl pick next week. Last thing I want to leave everyone with is that if you're a sports fan or true sports fan and you've got your team, whether it's college or pro, you've always suffered some excruciating loss. Your team's going in for a winning touchdown, the running back fumbles at the 1-yard line. A kick, wide right. Florida State knows all about that, and Bobby Bowden, right? A penalty called on a last drive of a game that keeps the other team on the field, and they ultimately win. It's the proverbial what if. What if this? What if that? What I'd love you to do out there is comment and let me know what is your what if moment in your team or player. And we'll address it next week, and we'll talk about that and highlight it and talk about that specific game and what the outcomes might have been. I'll just throw one what if here right now. What if the Patriots never drafted Tom Brady and he got drafted by the Detroit Lions in the 3rd round or the Atlanta Falcons? Is Tom Brady Tom Brady? He gets drafted by the Patriots, goes to an organization on the rise. Bill Belichick has a 20-year unprecedented run as probably the greatest franchise in NFL history. We can talk about how he got there, but interesting to see what would have happened if he did not get drafted by the Patriots. Well, again, I want to thank everybody so much for joining in to our kickoff show. Again, thank you very, very much to my director and producer, Tony Smeraldi. Did an excellent job navigating us through our first live broadcast with all the craziness going on. I can hear wind swirling and rain and thunder. It's crazy. So I want to thank everybody. Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit it. Let us know what you want to hear about. Let us know what content you want to talk about. And we'll see you next Wednesday at 7 o'clock.